Hello! Today you will learn how to use the Excel template to create Word serial letters, to load data from SQL Server to the Excel template, and save data to SQL Server. Okay, let's start. So first you create your Excel template in one of your folders on your computer, and in the same folder you create another directory. It's named template, and another one it's named document. The template folder contains later the templates, the Word templates, and the document folder contains the output Word documents you create. So let's start. You can change the document and the template folder names here if you want, but it has to be in the same directory where your Excel file is stored. Okay, let's create a table with data. So first let's do name, second maybe last name, and maybe email, and address. Okay, so let's create some data. So you need the output column. I explain that later. This is not to store data, it's to flag which line you want to create. So let's start with the name, Peter Vögel. Email address, and maybe address, let's say and you can press Alt return to get another line. In Berlin, and let's create another one. Let's say Max and Meyer and Meyer at email.com, and he lives in Frankfurt. Test Street 77, Frankfurt. Okay, so now we have two lines, and what we need now is we need a template. So we need to start Word to create our Word template. Use a blank one, and to use the variables in Word, you go to the column you want to use. Let's say first name, press Shift, Ctrl and C, and then you can paste the variable name in Word. You do the same for last name, and you can paste it in Word. So you can also type it. Important is that you use only lowercase letters and at the begin and at the end hashes, and the name should be the same as your header name. So let's do the address, maybe here, copy it again, address, and then we do dear, maybe last name again, here's your text. So, and then you save your template in your template folder. And we name it maybe test temp 1, and then you can close the template. So now you cannot select it, you cannot see it, you have to refresh first your files, clicking this button here, and then you see there's another template. We select this one, And then you can select the line where you want to create your template from. So maybe we do line 1, click the first Word button, and it creates our output. So you see the variables will be replaced by name, email, address, and something was wrong with the last name. Here's a blank between in the variable name. So let's close that. Go back to your template folder, to your test template, and you see there is a blank. We remove the blank, save it, and create it again, and now it works, you see. Good, you see it has created a file name in your document folder, and the file name is _1_test_temp, that's the template name, and the second we did is 2_test_temp. So maybe you want to have a specific file name, you can type it in here, or you can also use fields from here to create your file name. Let's say we want to use the name and the last name as part of your file name. So this is column 1, 2, and 3. So we need 2 and 3. So you can type here in #1 #2 #, and when we go here and create the file name again, then it's named Peter. Maybe we have to do an underscore here in between. No, sorry, I'm wrong. It's #2 and #3. So it's 1, 2, and 3. 2 and 3 we want to use. Let's do it again. And then we see Peter_Högel. So you can also have in your file name, if you want, a date. When you look here, it's the date or the time, T. So when you want to have the date, so you can do #D. When you want to have the time also, you can do #T. And when you create the document now, it's called Peter_Högel, the date and the time, and again test template. So the template name will be always a part of your file name. When we close that and we go back to our output, you see you have here the file names. You can open that and you see your output. Okay, let's say you want to print your output. You can click here, and after printing you want to close your document. So you select the line, click here, it will open the line, it will print the line. I have my default printer is PDF, so they asked me now for a file name. I cancel that, and after that it will close your document again. So next step is you want to do both on the same time. So you enter a 1 in all lines you have in your sheet you want to print or you want to generate or create. And I don't want to print it because I get always the dialog. I want just to create 2 files for Peter and for Max. So you mark both lines with a 1, and then you click the output, the word output here, and this will generate both files to your output directory. And if you click also print, it will print both files. So when I remove, or let's remove here the 1 and just add here a 1 and do it again, you see it creates just 1 file. Okay, now let's say you want to connect your list here to a database table. And then you go to settings, and here you can enter your database connections. So I have a local SQL server on my desktop here, and this is a server name. So if you have a server name in your SQL server in your network, you have to ask your administrator for server name. On my server is a database called XLS reporting, and in my database is a table. The name is contact. Okay. I explain later this del key. If you want to use Windows credentials, you don't have to enter username and password. If you want to have, if you want to use local database user, you can enter here username and password. If you leave it blank, it automatically uses your Windows Active Directory user. So the easy way is when you have entered that, you go to the data and then you click just refresh here, and it will automatically load your table from the database, including all the data you have in your table. And now you can use these fields in your Excel template. I create already a template for this, just to see. It's this one, and maybe let's create it for Peter. Oh, sorry, it closed. Do it again, without closing. You see, it's Peter Müller. These are the data coming from my database. Street and Düsseldorf. That's quite easy. So you can also do multiple prints. So you can do output here one if you want to do the first two lines. So you create it for Peter Müller and you create it for Michelle Smith. And it will always create files in your document folder. So if you want to, or if you have also write access to your table on the database, and be careful with that, you can specify here in the del keys which columns are your key figures in your table. So what I did is I have 1, 2, 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are my key figures. So that means you can have only one Peter Müller. You can only have one Michelle Smith, and so on. If you enter another Michelle Smith, it will delete this one and create a new line. If you leave that empty here, the del keys, it will always, when you save the table, delete everything in your database and recreate the table with the data you have entered here. So maybe it's a solution too, but that depends what you want. So let's create another one. So I refresh that here again to see what we have, and I create another one, Mr. Let's do the Max again. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Max Smith, and he lives in 6,000. Oh, let's do 1,000. Berlin Test Street. So now you can save here, click the save button, and when you refresh your data, you see the max is always in the database. So you can go, maybe just to make clear, you can delete this table and you can reload it from the database, and you get all your data back on your database. Be careful with saving, because when you maybe use a database from your CRM, you don't want to change data in your CRM database. So make sure when you use this kind of tables that you only have read access. So I have another table in my database, just to show you how easy it is to use a different table. The table is named Excel test. So you can refresh and it will reload the new table here, the Excel test table. And you can use these variables now in your template. To come back to your contact table, refresh and it will load your contact table. So if you are interested to get this sheet, send me an email on phg2020@gmail.com and I will send you the spreadsheet. If you like that video, give me a like. Thank you.